Okay. You're on.
I need a songbook. So my songbook got merged back there again anyway.
I remember this is
It's
yours.
okay. Oh, can say short journey.
Shishiguru Guranga Vindara Vikajirotari Radha Vinod Vyari Radha Govinda Joki Nitalila Vishnu Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Gururata Astatara Sata Shri Srimad Avacharana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Nitalila Vishnu Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Gururata Astatara Sata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Gurudev Ki Shri Gauriya Varga Ki Prem Sikho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gauriya Bhaktivedanta Ki Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Ki Samadata Bhaktivedanta Ki Dai Bharatam
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadavai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shivishakhanvitamscha Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bhangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vansha Kalupa Charubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauda Tishe Namaha Nityanandam Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalmashanashaya Janava Pataye Namaha Ajanulambita Bhujo Kanakavadato Samkirtanaika Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palo Bande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavatara Panchatattvatmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Shuduto Pangor Mama Mandamater Gati Matsarvasva Padam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratanagar Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Pristalibhi Sevyamano Smarani Srimad Rasarasarambi Vam Shivata Tatakstitaha Karshan Venu Swanayar Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha Brindai Tulsi Dimbai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prane Devi Satyavachai Namo Bhaktya Vihina Aparadha Lakshay Kshiptascha Kamadi Taranga Madhye Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Brinde Namaste Charanarvinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashto Tarasata Sri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashtatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashtatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And then I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all of my Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga, and especially to the lotus feet of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, our Prayojan Tattva Acharya, who is the author of Sri Vilapa-kusumanjali. And I offer my unlimited Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and to all the Vaishnavis. So yesterday we completed the 24th shloka, in which Srila Raghunath Das Goswami had the vision of Srimati Radhika's bathing and being decorated, and how much he's expressing how much he is longing. Directly to Srimati Radhika he's praying, O Devi, when will I happily place beautiful musk tilak on your forehead, which is as splendid as the full moon, glistening kumkum on your limbs, and wonderful pictures and designs in fragrant colors on your breasts. So Srila Gurudev, yes, he told so many sweet pastimes in his commentary about Srimati Radhika also going to Nandagaon for cooking, and the manjaris all bathing her and dressing her and preparing her for going there. And why did they want to make a full moon on Srimati Radhika's forehead, which is like the full moon? Because from his boyhood, Krishna liked the full moon. And knowing this, they draw a very attractive full moon on her forehead. Then, when Vishaka and Lalita arrange for Srimati Radhika and Krishna to meet, then they smile because they know that by this full moon decoration, the Krishna deer has been caught. Because it is so beautiful, when Krishna sees this, he will certainly enter the trap and be caught. They also applied kumkum to Radhika's body and braided her hair in such a way that it became like a female black serpent, which is ready to bite Krishna. Seeing this braid, Krishna will be brought under the control of Radhika's prema. There's a purpose for every little decoration. So after decorating her to appear immensely beautiful, they were ready to go to Yashoda Bhavan at Nandagaon. Krishna was waiting at Tera Kadamba with the cows and all the other cowherd boys, and Radhika came along accompanied by all of her manjaris and sakis. Lalita advised her not to go by this path near Tera Kadamba, saying, "You should go by another path so that you will be very far away from him." Then Radhika replied, "I don't fear Krishna. Who is this Krishna?" Then Lalita became silent and they proceeded. So as they came nearer, Krishna took the tail of a calf, gave it a twist, and it ran straight to where Radhika and the gopis were. And Krishna, he followed behind the calf until it came to Srimati Radhika. And when he pushed her with his hand, all the gopis fearfully began running here and there. Then Krishna ran away, and Lalita said, "I warned you not to come by this path. He is very naughty." They continued on their way, and though Radhika really wanted to meet with Krishna, she made her mood appear in such a way that everyone would think that she did not want to meet with him. And on another occasion, she broke his necklace of pearls, and they were scattered everywhere. Then she sat down and made a show of not looking towards Krishna, but still she would be peeping at him from time to time. I think it was her own necklace. It says she broke his necklace of pearls, and they were scattered everywhere. Then she sat down and made a show of not looking towards Krishna, but still she would be peeping at him from time to time.
Has he picked up his pearls? I don't know.
Well, I know there's also a pastime where her necklace is intentionally broken and gives her the opportunity to begin to pick them up and like that, and then peeping at Krishna, right? So she sat down and made a show of not looking towards Krishna, but still she would be peeping at him from time to time. Every day there are varieties of pastimes like this. So after arriving at Nanda Bhavan, she prepares so many different foodstuffs such as Manohar Laddu, Amrita Keli, Ras Malai. And while she is in Yavat, she is always burning in Yavat. She is always burning in separation. And in the kitchen at Yashoda Bhavan, there are hundreds of very hot stoves. She cooks in close proximity to these fires, but she considers it to be very cool there in comparison to the burning separation she feels in Yavat. She prepares everything in a pleasing mood. Then Krishna comes and takes bath. Yashoda orders some Sakhis to bathe him, and the Sakhis make jokes while bathing him. And then Krishna calls out, "Oh mother, oh mother!" And Yashoda comes at once and says in great anxiety, "What happened?" And seeing Krishna laughing and the gopis also laughing, she returns. Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Jiva Ki Jai. Next, Krishna takes his breakfast, then he takes the cows out to graze for the day. This is all included within Pratak Lila, the morning pastimes. So now, we're going to read verse 25. Okay. A good length of purport. Sindura Reka Simante Devi Ratna Shalakaya Maya Ya Kalpita Kim Te Salakam Shobhayishyati. O Devi, when will I, drawing a line of red sindoor with a jeweled shalaka, we'll probably find out what that is, decorate the part in your hair? Recognize that word? Shalaka? Yananjana Shalakaya. So Shalakaya, and here it's saying it's an instrument with a jeweled shalaka, decorate the part in your hair. Let's find out.
That's the tool to open your eyes.
Yes, right, that's what I'm thinking, because it's called Gyan Anjana Shalakaya. So Anjana means ointment. Ointment of knowledge. He applies to our eyes. Gyan Anjana Shalakaya. So maybe, let's find out.
Yeah.
You can repeat. Sindura,
Sindura,
Reka,
Reka,
Simante,
Simante,
Devi Ratna,
Devi Ratna,
Shalakaya,
Shalakaya,
Maya,
Maya,
Ya,
Ya,
Kalpita,
Kalpita,
Kimte,
Kimte,
Salakam,
Salakam,
Shobhayishyati.
Shobhayishyati.
O Devi,
O Devi,
when will I,
when will I,
drawing a line of red sindoor
drawing a line of
red sindoor
with a jeweled shalaka,
with a jeweled
Shalaka,
decorate the part in your hair?
decorate the part
part
in
in
your hair.
your hair.
Srila Gurudev's commentary. For Indian ladies, this sindhur is essential. If they are wearing ornaments, decorations, and fine clothing, but sindhur is not there, it is all meaningless, and others will consider her to be a widow or unfortunate because she has no husband. So what is that marking understood as by the general public? Yeah, that's right, the red part.
I heard that it's the husband having defeated other competitors for the hand of his wife, has the blood on his sword and has put it in the part.
Oh, okay, that's the Kshatriya version.
Yeah.
Well, you see it actually in every wedding ceremony that the man
Yes.
paints the sindoor. So, and what is that telling for the general people that see her?
She's married.
Exactly, she has a husband. Do we see that in India nowadays? Not so much. Yeah, not so much.
In our village, maybe.
In the village, yeah. So, Raghunath Das Goswami is experiencing both meeting and separation. And when in meditation he is remembering the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, he feels that they are directly standing before him in his meditation. Being oblivious to whatever may be happening externally, he is overjoyed in divine blissfulness. Being oblivious to whatever may be happening externally, he is overjoyed in divine blissfulness. He feels that he is serving Srimati Radhika, but when the remembrance dissipates, he feels great separation and he begins weeping bitterly. The next section is titled Beautiful for the Pleasure of Krishna. In his internal vision, Raghunath Das Goswami sees that Srimati Radhika has taken bath, and now the manjaris are decorating her with all alankar and abharana. There is a difference between abharana and alankar. The word alankar implies all kinds of ornaments, and abharana means decorations such as anjana, kumkum, and tilak. The abharana are of 16 kinds of abharana. If all the abharana are there, but the ornaments are not, still Radhika appears so beautiful. At the time of cooking, Radhika removes her ornaments. Her chadar, she removes and puts on a very thin, light white dress. At that time, a manjari approaches her with a mirror, saying, "Just look how beautiful you appear." When Tulsi Manjari spoke this verse, she went deep into remembrance of Radha and Krishna's pastimes. This sindhura has friendship with Krishna's black curly hair. How? A Sakhi applied this sindhura to the part in Srimati Radhika's hair and also kajal to her eyes, which are very large and restless like those of a deer. Then she gives a mirror to her, saying, "Look and see how beautiful you are." Radhika looks and agrees that she is very beautiful. But Radhika doesn't consider that her beauty is for her own pleasure. She thinks, if Krishna becomes pleased upon seeing this, then I will also be pleased. Otherwise, all the decoration is useless. Just then, Krishna came, and he saw her face and her braid decorated with exquisite garlands of kunda flowers, the deep red sindoor in the part of her hair. At once he was attracted, and when embracing Srimati Radhika, the sindoor mixed in Krishna's hair, and they both became overjoyed. Witnessing this, the Sakhis became delighted, even more happy than both Radhika and Krishna themselves. Did you hear that? What did Gurudev just say?
They become more happy than both Radha and Krishna themselves.
Who becomes?
Sakis and Manjaris.
Yes. Yeah, they become even more happy, more delighted, even more happy than both Radhika and Krishna themselves. It was amazing.
The Manjaris are experiencing Radha and Krishna, both their faces at once, so that's why they're experiencing more pleasure than Radha and Krishna.
That's a good hypothesis. Okay, so the Kinkaris have the same marks on them that Radhika herself does. So, when her sindoor becomes mixed in Krishna's hair, they all feel that Krishna has taken their sindoor as well. So when Radhika is meeting with Krishna, they feel that he is meeting with them also, but they don't desire to meet with Krishna directly. They experience everything through Srimati Radhika. This is the symptom of the Manjaris. The Sakis decorate Radhika with ornaments and abharana. And Srimati Radhika feels that she is so beautiful. But unlike us, when we decorate ourselves, it is not for the gopis' own selfish pleasure, but exclusively to attract and please Krishna. So the gopis, they don't decorate themselves ever. Like the ordinary woman in this material world, she's sitting down, applying all of her makeup and everything. What's her objective?
So she can feel good about herself.
Not just that, that she will attract a man, whether it's her husband or anybody else, right? And then she will enjoy her senses. So it's completely the opposite of the gopis. Their mood and their motivation of decorating themselves. So, but unlike us, when we decorate ourselves, it is not, unlike us, when we decorate ourselves, it is not for the gopis' own selfish pleasure, but exclusively to attract and please Krishna, that they decorate themselves. And they decorate Radhika. So, in our present condition, we cannot possibly imagine this stage of purity. Not one tiny tinge of self-gratification. So when Raghunath Das Goswami comes in external sense and remembers that he is a sadhaka jeev living in Radha Kunda, he begins to weep and lament and he prays, "Oh Radhike, when will I decorate your simanta with this sindoor? When will Krishna take the sign of that sindoor in his hair and be so pleased?" Balaram Kavi was a Bhakta poet. Ever heard of Balaram Kavi? Okay, now we're going to hear about him. Balaram Kavi was a Bhakta poet. He wrote very beautifully and marvelously about Krishna's cow-herding pastimes in the Purvan Leela. He wrote about Sakya Ras and Vatsalya Ras. He also gave some descriptions of Srimati Radhika. Srimati Radhika is always thinking how to serve and please Krishna. In the words of Balaram Kavi, Srimati Radhika is telling something about what she is realizing, how Krishna loves her. So, Gurudev goes on with that in the next section. Next section is titled Rasa Shastra and the Wonder of Radha Krishna's Prem. So what's Rasa Shastra?
A shastra about transcendental mellows of loving relationship.
Like this. And also, all the books of the Goswamis, they're all dealing with Rasa Shastra. So, If one knows Bengali, and especially if one has some idea of Rasa Shastra, then one can become immersed in this ocean of rasa. Very few persons can take bath in these poems. Marama kahilu mo puna tekilu se janar piriti pade. In a mood of great separation, Srimati Radhika says to Shamla, this is Balaram Kavi's poetry that Gurudev is now reading. So, in this mood of great separation, Srimati Radhika says to Shamla, if I had known Krishna's nature, that externally he appears very beautiful, but internally he is so crooked and cruel, I would never have developed so much love for him. Who's saying this?
Radha.
To who? Shamla. And she says, I am revealing the feelings of my inner heart, and I say that no one should ever desire to love Krishna. They should always keep very far away from him because he is black both externally and internally. He sets traps to catch innocent victims. What is his trap? It is made of his beauty. As soon as someone falls in his trap, he shoots that person with his bow and arrows. His eyebrow is his bow, and his sidelong glances are the arrows, which are sharpened on his kundalas. What's that? Earrings, kundala. He has a very beautiful face. He is Vamshi Vadan. His words are more beautiful than the sound of the Vamshi. He possesses some rasa mixed with poison. And when he administers it to someone, they don't die, but merely become mad. And they do just as he instructs them. Is all Radhika saying this. Mo puna teki lu. That means, at first I fell into his trap, but somehow I escaped. And since then I have always tried to never fall into that trap again, but still, time and again, I fall into it. Se janar piriti pade. The pade, trap, that's the word for trap. Pade. What is this trap? It is made of priti, love. That trap is made of priti. Krishna tells a particular gopi, I am your servant forever. And besides you, I know nothing. I will always do as you say. I cannot live without you. You are more dear to me than Chandravali, Padma, and all others. Right? So who's telling? Krishna is telling to a particular gopi. Krishna would speak to the gopis like this when he was residing in Braj. So, when he went from Mathura to Dwarka, he could not relinquish this habit. In Dwarka, he simply did the same things. He vowed 3 times, O Satyabhama Devi, you are my heart and soul. I don't love Rukmini. I am yours only. And when he goes to Rukmini, he says, I don't love anyone else. I only desire you. So, Rukmini and Satyabhama, who are they?
Rukmini is Chandravali and Satyabhama is Radha.
Who's the chief gopi amongst the chief gopi? Who's the chief of Krishna's wives?
first?
the chief.
Satyabhama. No, Rukmini is.
Yes, Rukmini is. Right? Satyabhama is not. But Rukmini is an expansion of who? Chandravali. And Satyabhama is an expansion of who? Radhika. But their roles are reversed in Dwarka. And Satyabhama has what kind of nature?
Contrary. Or
Submissive.
No, that's Rukmini. That story in the 10th canto, one of those chapters is describing how Rukmini is fanning Krishna, and then Krishna starts joking with her, right? And starts saying, I'm very insignificant, I have no good quality. Really, you should not be with me. And she becomes more and more distraught. And then finally, he's saying, you should actually leave me. And he's actually joking with her, but she's taking it seriously. And then she faints. She actually falls down. But then Krishna immediately comes to her, oh, my dear beloved, I was not saying this seriously, like that. But Satyabhama, what happens with Satyabhama? Satyabhama tells Krishna, in the heavenly planets, Indra has a special garden, and he has a special parijata tree in that garden. I want that tree. You have to bring it to me.
She wanted one flower. Right?
Oh, one flower, is it?
No. He gave one flower to Rukmini,
Yeah.
and then Satyabhama went into Man and wouldn't even relate with Krishna. And then
Krishna gave that flower to Rukmini.
Yes.
Yes.
And so then to
Take the mic.
appease her.
Take the mic.
So to appease Satyabhama, he had to go and get the whole tree. I think he even took
He wanted one flower and he refused. No, not even one flower. So then he took the whole tree.
Ah, right. So, excuse me. So, Prabhupada writes in his purport in the first canto that Krishna became what to Satyabhama? Or by Satyabhama. Became a hen-pecked husband. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yes. So now, we're still on that poem. So, Krishna tells a particular gopi, I am your servant forever. Besides you, I know nothing. I will always do as you say. I cannot live without you. You are more dear to me than Chandravali, Padma, and all others. Krishna would speak to the gopis like this when he was residing in Braj. So, when he went from Mathura to Dwarka, he could not relinquish this habit. In Dwarka, he simply did the same things. He vowed 3 times, O Satyabhama, Devi, you are my heart and soul. I don't love Rukmini. I am yours only. And when he goes to Rukmini, he says, I don't love anyone else. I desire only you. So once Narad came to Dwarka with a parijata flower, which he had taken from Indra's garden in the heavenly planets. The nature of the parijata flower is that whoever wears it on her head or anywhere on her body will always be immensely beautiful. They will never feel any hunger or thirst and will always be happy. So Narad arrived as Krishna was sitting surrounded by his 16,108 queens. Giving the flower to Krishna, he said, in my presence, right now, give this flower to the queen who is the dearest to you. Knowing that if he did so, it would ignite a great quarrel, Krishna could not decide what to do. As Narad insisted again and again, Krishna thought, now I am in serious trouble. So after deliberating, he gave it to Rukmini, because it is a well-known fact that she is the first and the principal queen. Still, all the queens consider that they are dearest to Krishna. And especially Satyabhama thinks this way because Krishna was always telling her so. So when he gave it to Rukmini, the faces of all the other queens became pale, and Satyabhama became extremely angry. She thought, Krishna has insulted me. He always tells me that I am his favorite, but in front of everyone, he has insulted me by giving the flower to Rukmini. If he had kept it in his pocket and not given it to anyone, at least I would have some consolation. She wept, and with red, furious eyes she left, and locked herself in her room. Taking off her royal queen's dress and ornaments, she lay on the ground, taking long breaths like a female serpent. Rukmini was elated. But all the other queens and Krishna were very unhappy. Krishna thought, now what should I do? So alone, he went to the palace of Satyabhama, where he saw that she was lying down and weeping. Krishna sat down at her feet and touched them with his hand. Satyabhama at once kicked away Krishna's hand. Krishna again put his hands there. Why are you so angry? I have cheated only Rukmini, but because you are less intelligent, you could not understand. I have given my whole heart to you, so why are you weeping for that ordinary flower? Do you desire a mere ordinary flower or my heart? She said angrily, you cannot even give me a flower. What to speak of your heart? I don't believe you, and I want to go to my father's house, and I will not live here any longer with you, Satyabhama said. So Krishna, being such a clever cheater, consoled her by saying, at this very moment, I will go to heaven, and I will bring an entire tree of those flowers for you. At once he called Gurudev, and taking Satyabhama in his lap, Krishna went to heaven and uprooted that Parijata tree. As he was leaving, Indra and all demigods told Krishna that he was forbidden to take it. A big fight ensued, but Krishna defeated Indra and took the tree to the palace of Satyabhama. Then he said, Satyabhama, you should inform Rukmini and all the other queens that today this tree will be planted in your garden, and that they are all invited to come to this function. Then upon hearing this, all the queens came to see it. But if Satyabhama had been in Rukmini's place, she would never have accepted that invitation, and she would not have come to the function. But Rukmini was so magnanimous and tolerant that she came. Srimati Radhika says, at first I fell into Krishna's trap, but I escaped and decided to never go again. And yet I was cheated and again drawn into it. Ratri din chitte bhavite bhavite tare se paro kande kande. Really, there is no trap, but the nature of Krishna's love is such that day and night, always, everywhere, my very soul is weeping to meet with him. Why? Because when Krishna meets with me and touches me, I forget where I am, who I am, what I am, and what he does with me. I don't know anything. Buke buke muke choke lagi take tabu satata harai. He touches his mouth to my mouth, his breast to my breasts. He holds his eyes close to my eyes, and he desires to enter inside my very heart. He also desires to tear open his own heart and keep me inside, feeling that I have lost Srimati Radhika. Satata harai. Even in meeting, when all of his limbs are touching the corresponding parts of my body, he thinks I do not have Srimati Radhika. O book, Chiriya, Gurudev obviously loves this Bengali song by Balaram Kavi. O book, Chiriya Hiyar, Majhare Amare Rakite Chai. Krishna wants to keep me inside his chest. Hora naho priya galai paraye. Krishna thinks that if I were a necklace, he would carry me around his neck and at his chest. Chandana nuho makegai. If I was Chandan, he would smear me on his whole body. Aneka jatane ratana pai, tuite tai napai. Krishna thinks, where should I keep Srimati Radhika? She is my life and soul, and my greatest treasure. If anyone sees this treasure, they will desire to possess it, so I should hide it inside my heart. Karpura tambula apni sajya mor mukha paride. He loves me so much that he makes betel and he places it in my mouth. Hasya hasya chibuka dariya mukha diele sajaya kashaya vasana paraya aveshe loya kare dipa laya hate mukha nirakite titila nayana lore. He decorates my braid, decorates my eyes with kajal. He dresses me beautifully and gives me ornaments. He takes a golden ghee lamp and weeping, he offers it to me, desiring to always see my face. Charane Dharya Jaba Rasai. He holds my feet in his lap and he writes his name there very artistically. Balarama chitte babite babite prajara hoilo shesh. Balaram says, oh, when will I be fortunate to see Krishna's love for Srimati Radhika? When will I witness how he is serving her? Remembering these pastimes and not seeing Radhika and Krishna, I am always weeping and my heart is finished. He is feeling separation here, Gurudev says, this Balaram poet. So Raghunath Das Goswami also wants to see Krishna serving Srimati Radhika. He is praying, with a golden stick, I want to put sindoor in the part of your hair, because upon seeing this, Krishna will become very greedy to have this red come in his black curly hair. When will I see all these things? That is verse 25. Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, Sindura Reka Simante Devi Ratna Shalakaya Maya Ya Kalpita Kimte Salakam Shobhayashyati. O Devi, when will I, drawing a line of red sindoor with a jeweled shalaka, decorate the part in your hair? So I'll just read the verse that we're going to have tomorrow, verse 26. Just checking the pages. So we're on page 233 of this book, and it has 500 and approximately 30 total pages. So that means that when we're at 280, 265 or something like that, 265, then we'll be at the halfway point. So that's another 32 pages from here. Well, I'm looking at when the commentaries of Gurudev. It goes all the way up to verse 73 actually. So we're on 26, and his commentaries go all the way up to verse 73. Then after that verse, in verse 74, still commentary. Commentary 76, 77, commentary 78, 79. Yeah, at 77, the commentary stops, and then another commentary by whoever is commenting. It's called the Kripa Kataksha commentary. I think it's Premananda's class. So that continues, very short, 82 and then 83, 84. Yeah. So that little commentary continues to the end. Verse 92, 94, 95. And 96. So, yeah, those final verses, they pretty much all have that small commentary. I think that's why Rasik Mohan published the book, because it's got both these different commentaries, and so it's more or less complete. But prior to that, it wasn't, because Gurudev didn't give his commentary all the way to the end. But here, yeah, it goes up to the 104 verses, and there's a little commentary after each one. Even 102, 103, 104. Yeah, all the verses pretty much. Almost all. Commentary. So, we've got a lot more to go of Gurudev's nectar. That's what I was looking for. Gurudev's commentary. So, the 26th verse, which we're going to hear Gurudev's commentary tomorrow, I'm reading that verse. Hanta Devi Tilakasya Samantad. Hanta Devi Tilakasya Samantad. Bindavoruna Sugandhi Rasena. Krishna Madaka Mahaushadi Mukya Dhira Hastam Ihakim Parikalpya. O Devi, when with a steady hand will I artistically decorate you with the aromatic red dots that are the most powerful aphrodisiac to the maddened Krishna. So repeat. Hanta Devi Tilakasya Samantad Bindavo Aruna Sugandhi Rasena Krishna Madaka Mahaushadhi Mukya Dhira Hastam Iha Kim Parikalpya. O Devi, when with a steady hand will I artistically decorate you
basically decorate you
with the aromatic red dots
with the aromatic red dots
that are the most powerful aphrodisiac
that are the most powerful aphrodisiac
to maddened Krishna.
to madden Krishna.
So tomorrow we will hear how Krishna becomes maddened when he sees the red dots on Srimati Radhika. Gaur Premanandi. Shri Vilapa-kusumanjali ki jai, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami Pada ki jai, Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna.
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 Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe.
Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe.
Jaya Kanumana Mohini Radhe Radhe, Kanumana Mohini Radhe Radhe.
Jaya Kanumana Mohini Radhe Radhe, Jaya Kanumana Mohini Radhe.
Jaya Ashtashaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe, Ashtashaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe.
Jaya Ashtashaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe, Jaya Ashtashaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe.
Jaya Govinda Nandini Radhe Radhe, Govinda Nandini Radhe Radhe.
Jaya Govinda Nandini Radhe Radhe, Jaya Govinda Nandini Radhe Radhe.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna.
Jaya Radhe,
Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari,
Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari.
Gaura He, Gaura He, Gaura He, Gaura He,
Gaura He, Gaura He, Gaura He, Gaura He.
Nitai He, Nitai He, Nitai He, Nitai He,
Nitai He, Nitai He, Nitai He, Nitai He.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Vindai Tulsidebai Priyai Keshavasya Cha, Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namah. Vansha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubheva Cha, Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo